What's going on, Will County? How's it going? Man, I tell you what, I went around, I circulated, I talked to many of you out there, and I gotta tell you, as I'm listening to folks up here talking, we have got an outstanding future in front of us. We've got a little bit of a difficulty right now, but I guarantee you we're gonna come together, we're gonna beat this, and we're gonna take our country back, and I'm excited about it. Are you excited? Let me tell you, folks, how about that Cedra Crenshaw, huh? Holy cow, she's fired up. Well, I want to say thank you for coming out. Thank you so much. I'm Adam Kinzinger. Just real quickly, I'm 32 years old. When I was 20, I was actually elected to the McLean County Board, the youngest in the state at the time. I did 5 years on the McLean County Board before resigning on 9/11 to go fight for my country. Thanks. I'm going to hold this. That's better. You know, I tell you, I was driving to work when I heard that terrorists hit the World Trade Center. When I heard they hit the second building, I knew immediately that America was never going to be the same. But I never realized how much I was never going to be the same. And I decided at that moment that America is fragile and needs defending, and I joined the United States Air Force, and in 2003 became a second lieutenant, went to pilot training, became a pilot in the Air Force, and have been to Iraq and Afghanistan a number of times. And I got to tell you, it is an absolute honor to serve you in the armed forces. Raise your hand out here if you're a veteran. Let's give your veterans a hand, by the way. But folks, I was flying my airplane one day and I was talking to the co-pilot, and we were talking about what every one of you talk about, you know, things, the state of affairs, how they could be better, what we could be doing. And I'll tell you what, I remember thinking, if I'm willing to defend my country on the outside, I have to be willing to defend her on the inside now too. And ladies and gentlemen, you and I are at a crossroads in our nation right now where we have two decisions to pick. We can either pick the decision that says more government, more spending, more government control, or we can pick the road that says let's get back to what made America great in the first place, the free market system, the entrepreneur. That entrepreneurial spirit that says, you know what, we know what's best for our life, we know what's best for America, and we're going to take it back. And in seeing every one of you here with the signs that you have, the flags that you have, every one of you are saying, doggone it, we're going to take our country back, and there's nothing you can do about it. We're going to take it back on November 2nd, and I'm excited. Hallelujah, I'm fired up, you know. That's right. But I tell you what, folks, we need somebody that, whether or not you always agree with them, and I'll tell you I'm a conservative through and through, but whether or not you always agree with them, you're going to always know that you'll have an audience with me. I will never hesitate to stand in front of you and hear what you have to say. I will never shrink away from town hall meetings. I will never ignore you, because I am working for you. Your congressman and congresswoman is your employee, and if they're not listening to you, they need fired, and we have an opportunity on November 2nd to do that. But I need to keep this fairly short because we're kind of coming up on a time thing, but let me say this. You've heard all the talk, and you guys have heard all the excitement, and I know you're there, I know you're fired up, I know you're with me. Every one of you are going to leave here today feeling good. And if you don't, you ought to feel good, because this is America standing up and saying we've had enough. This is the America that stands up and says we're going to take our country back. This is democracy. This is capitalism. We're going to take it back, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I tell you, I was speaking at a Memorial Day event, and there were probably 300-400 people out there. And we were talking about, I was actually just kind of sharing my experiences in the military and what I've seen. And as I looked over the crowd, I remember seeing veterans from Vietnam. And by the way, those of you that are Vietnam veterans out there, you guys hold a special place in my heart. Because when I came back from Iraq and Afghanistan, I had people cheering for me and thanking me, and you didn't have that. America appreciates you, and America appreciates your service in Vietnam. But when I was talking to that crowd, I saw Vietnam veterans, a few World War II veterans, veterans of my wars, people that were in the military during peacetime. I I saw people that had never served in the military, that worked in the factories and in the farms. And I remember thinking at that moment, this literally struck me at that moment, with everything that people have sacrificed, from the very first days where a select group of men stood up and said, I'm going to sign the Declaration of Independence, I don't care if it costs me my life, it's the right thing to do. That kind of courage. To the people that have put on their uniform and carried the gun and fought to protect our country overseas. Folks, we do not have the right to give up on our country now. We don't have that right. So many people have sacrificed so much, so many people have sacrificed their lives, we don't have that right. And I tell you what I've seen, I'm excited by it. I've seen 18, 19-year-old kids in Iraq turn a corner or go into a house not knowing what's on the other side, but knowing they have to do it to defend the precious liberty of the United States. Folks, the young generation I'm very proud of. I'm very excited for the young generation, but we have an opportunity and an obligation to maintain our union now. Let's quit spending all our kids' and grandkids' money. Let's get Americans back to work, and let's get rid of the arrogance in government that says, I don't need to stand in front of you and be accountable. You need to be accountable if you're in government. So as I wrap up, let me say, folks, thank you for coming out. There's going to be more speaking after me, but thank you for coming out. Now we have an opportunity to go home, you put your signs down, and we can make some real, serious changes in our country over the next 6.5 months. And I need an army of people behind me if we're going to beat Debbie Halverson. And we're going to beat Debbie Halverson. Will you be that army? Will you stand with me when the shots and the arrows come in? I'll take the shots and the arrows, I don't care. But I need an army of people to stand behind me and say, we're with you, Adam. We're going to take back the 11th Congressional District. We're going to take back our country. And we're going to take that big gavel away from Nancy Pelosi and give it to somebody that respects you. So thank you so much for coming out. The website is electadam.com. Check it out. Volunteers, sign up. Put the Adam Kinzinger bumper sticker on your car or all the other bumper stickers I see out there. It's great. Folks, we're going to take this country back. We're going to do it as a team. And on November 3rd, the day after the election, we're going to stand up and say, liberty rules again. Thank you so much.